Good afternoon, guys. Welcome to the Shay Show. My name is Shay. Today we get to speak with Tim Shropshire. He is a brilliant comedian. I know we use that word often. But what I want you to know is this guy is he's a gem. And many people haven't learned of him. I have just learned of him. He came into my world through, oh, there he is, through Instagram, which I love. And such great social commentaries that he just brings so much joy into my life. I want you to meet him and let him bring some joy into yours too. Hey, Tim.
What's up? How you doing? What's going on?
I am doing well. I'm a little fangirling right now.
What it do? That's all right. That's all
Oh
right. That's all
my God.
right.
So I met you here on the gram. This is where I first saw you, and you
Yeah.
were just doing what you do.
Oh yeah.
The first time I saw you, you were crying over some chicken.
That's me.
That is you. But what I started looking at is, given the time that we live in, not only are you funny, you make such great social commentaries in the world. You help us eat. I can tell you what you do for me. You help me take bites and eat things that are hard for me to eat if they weren't in the belly of comedy. So
Yep.
I want you to know that I appreciate that. So when I was looking at your world, I wanted to know a little bit. First, I love starting this with where are you in this world?
What do you mean where am I?
Physically, what state, what city, where are you in this world?
I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Charlotte, North Carolina. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm so excited, y'all. I'm going to stalk him. No. Then I also want to know, thank you for sharing that. When you first became a comedian,
Uh-huh.
before you were a comedian that people would know, tell me
Uh-huh.
when you first knew that you were funny and this was something that you're like, no, I know, I think I'm funny.
10th grade, I was on the bus coming back from a track meet. Again, you're the sophomore and you're with the seniors and juniors and seniors. And I had just did the 4x4.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't the fastest 4
Woo,
by 4 runner.
that's a
And
serious race.
and especially on that race, I was probably it's like a method to it. You got to run faster
Mm-hmm.
at the beginning, cruise, and then get it in
Pick
at
up
the end.
again.
I
Right.
never got it in. I was still on cruise the whole time.
Right.
And so the singers, when we got back on the bus, they gave me this. There was this going in on me. They was like, "Hey, man, you were skipping around the track." And just so happened, one of the seniors said that, and one of the seniors had who said that had tripped over one of the hurdles because he does the hurdles.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, right when he said that, I just snapped back and I was like, "Well, you couldn't skip over that hurdle." And the whole bus went crazy. And I was like, "Oh, what?" Like,
Wait
and
a minute. You did not know that you were funny until 10th grade when this moment happened.
I did not know I could move a room like that, is what I'm saying.
Oh, I
And that's what got me.
bet.
So I knew I probably had a silly side, but I never saw that I could make a room move like
Ooh,
that.
I want people to hear that.
And
This
so
this
when
is
I
huge.
saw that, it was like, yo. And so I kind of panicked because I'm like, oh, I got to come back with another one because he came back at me and said something. And then I said my next joke because I was like, I'm in the moment. And so I said something and they laughed. Can't remember what I
Doesn't matter.
said, but I can remember what that I said something wrong. I cussed too because I was like, oh man, I'm back in the corner. I got to be funny. Let me cuss with this one so I can punch it up some.
Right.
And they laughed again. They were like, oh, Shrub, oh my God. And when that was over, I'm like, oh, there's all right here. And one of the seniors, they came to me, they were like, bro, you hilarious, boy, you crazy. They was like, but I ain't know you cuss. And I was like, yeah, boy, I be cussing all the
All the
time.
time.
Yeah, boy, be cussing. Yeah. And
Just wake up cussing.
so two things I learned with that moment was that, hey, I'm funny, but I can move a room. But also, man, you don't gotta cuss or be something that you're not to make someone laugh. You could be naturally who you are and make people laugh. So that in that moment was probably like the okay, we got something here. But I never thought about career of that. But
Okay, you didn't.
I knew we got something going on.
So you felt like, at what point did you start thinking career? Because it's a bold move. Like I always tell
Yeah.
people, anybody who's in the creative pursuits,
Mm-hmm.
so I went to law school. Very easy to be a lawyer, very
Right.
easy to be a doctor. You go to undergraduate, you take the LSAT, you go to law school, you take the bar in whatever state you're going to live in, you practice law. It's a very clean path. It's well routed for you. You know, it has been, the trough is there. But when you are someone who says they want to be an actor or a comedian or even a writer, where the flip does one go? So I want to know, at what point do you start thinking of this as a career path?
As far as career path, it wasn't until 2000, let's say 2006, is when it kind of got into my mind. So this is, just put it in perspective, I had that moment in the 10th grade. That's 2002.
You don't have to make the rest of us feel old, Mr.
Okay,
I was in the 10th grade.
yeah, no,
I was in the 10th
I'm
grade.
35. I'm 35.
Young. I'm
But
46.
I would say, yeah. 2006, I read my pastor's book called Understanding Your Divine Calling, and that came at a really interesting place in my life. And
Who's your pastor?
His name was Bishop Otis Lockett, senior, and he actually passed in 2010.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But he wrote that book, and that's what at the time. And let me put you into time frame of what we're in.
Yeah, please.
I'm a junior in in college at the time.
Okay.
I just had lost my scholarship. In school, majored in
Why
sports science.
have you lost your scholarship?
Academic probation. I was in academic probation, 22 citations in one dorm room in one semester. I was a knucklehead.
Okay. No, but this is good to hear, because I want people to see that, you know, it doesn't matter if you have these hiccups. Look what Tim is doing with his life. Look what Tim is doing, y'all. Keep going.
So that happened. And if that didn't happen, I would have never read that book. And so because it was at a place of what you just mentioned, like, what is my purpose? What am I on earth to do? What am I supposed to do with my life? Again, I'm majored in sports science. I'm only majored in sports science because I like sports. It had nothing to do with a career I wanted in sport. I just want to go to the NFL. That was the only thing I wanted to do.
That's all you wanted to do?
That's all I wanted to do. And so, and I think that was an eye opener for me, that, you know, my journey with football could be yanked away at any moment, which I knew, but I just never really made it a reality for my life. So I read the book, and then it asked a few questions. And after the questions, I said, man, there are two things I really want to do with my life. I want to play football, and I want to make people laugh. I said, I know that's awkward. And it was like a bold thought to kind of like break through in my mind, because like what you mentioned is like, I was like, I know that this is not a popular profession, and I don't know how you make money doing it. I don't know. I said, because to be honest, I don't want to be a lawyer. I don't want to be a doctor. I know that you can be, but I don't want to be an engineer. I was like, man, I really want to spend my days making people laugh. And I kind of always had that question in my mind, like, what do I do with this feeling? And so I knew football was already
real quick, Tim,
Uh-huh.
what was the question that the book posed to you? That
what would you do if no one ever paid you to do it, but you'll do it for free?
Go on.
And so that was those two things. I play ball, you know, and
just give me the ball and I'll play.
Yeah, let's go. And then I'll make people laugh. Like, if I could just get in the room and we can cut up.
If I can get on back that bus for the rest of my life and make the whole, let's do it. I get it.
That was me. And so that kind of always stayed in my mind. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what that looked like. So making people laugh, that's very broad. You got TV, you got film, you got radio hosts, you got all, you got to do whatever. You can do commentary. I don't know what that looks like. And I never knew that it was stand about. So I saw a vision of myself. God showed me a vision. I was in church one Sunday. God showed me a vision. And the pastor was preaching, and he was ending his sermon, and he was saying, you all have to answer the call. And he was talking more so answer the call in regards to God knocking on your heart, accept them in. I'd already accepted them. You know, he was already up in there.
Jesus all up in it.
He was already up in there. But I never accepted the call on my life. And he said, when he said answer the call, I literally broke out into a vision. It's clear as day. This was 10 years ago.
Thank you so much for sharing this with us. Keep going.
And I'm like, whoa. And there was I'm on stage wearing a black suit with a white collar. And there's a lower deck of people, then there's an upper deck of people. I mean, it was packed. I was holding the mic, and God was like, I heard it clear as day. It was like, that's what I want you to do. Stand up
Oh,
comedy.
glory. I
It
feel it,
was
brother.
crazy. I was like, I'm crying. It was like back with the chicken wing story. I'm like, ooh. I'm like, okay, that's what it is.
Okay, Jesus.
And like I'm big on if God speaks to you,
Yeah.
He's gonna confirm it. You know, He's
Yeah.
gonna confirm it. He's not gonna just gonna put you out there. And no lie, for the next year, I did one event where I was asked to host something, and that hosting, emceeing, again, remember the call was stand up.
Yeah.
So I'm emceeing the event because I just asked to do it. They did a dinner for the college students. I was like, man, can I host it? Can I MC it? I was like, sure. And after I hosted the little event, this girl came up to me and said, hey, we would love for you to say, like, man, you're hilarious, you're funny. We would love for you to MC our event for our college. We got this Greek night, and I guess it's a Greek step show.
Mm-hmm.
We would love if you could MC it. And I'm like, whoa, this like we'll pay you $500. I'm like, fuck, $500. Again, I'm still in college. I'm like,
right, and I was going to do this for free when I read Bishop's book.
Come on, somebody, I do it for free. Come on, somebody. I do it for a sandwich. So I'm geeked about this. I'm geeked about this opportunity. I'm like, I'm about to host this event. This is college. This my life. Let's do it.
Doing
and so 2 days before the event, the girl reached back out to me and was like, hey, I apologize. But the reason why we reached out to you because the original MC, had pulled out some came in. But now he's available now. He's like a big deal. And I was like, dang. She's like, no, don't worry. She's like, but can you do 15 minutes of stand-up? And during the intermission, and I was like,
y'all still gonna give me my $500 though?
Nah, it was 50 this time. But it won't fun no more. I'm like, I went from 500 to 50. I'm like,
that's not the fun part. That tumble.
But there we go again. I hear the word stand up, and I'm like, oh wow, this is my first time. After hearing that from that vision. This is an opportunity to finally do stand-up.
Did you hear the word stand-up from God?
Stand-up comedy. That's what I want you to do. Stand-up comedy.
Okay.
It was like, it wasn't like I heard God's voice. It was like this impression. I knew what, and it was like a mixture of I heard it and I knew what it was. Because my question was like, what in comedy? And so I don't know if it was him or if it was like this feeling. But I knew what it was. I knew it was stand-up comedy he was calling me to. It was crazy. And so I did it. So I did the event. It was 15 minutes. 4 minutes into it, I walked off the stage. And I was like, that wasn't the Lord that told me to stand-up comedy. I walked off. I was like, hey, that's my time. She said, your check. I went to my car, turned that car on, and I went to my dorm room. And I was like, this ain't it. This ain't it.
Why was it? Why did you feel like it wasn't it?
When you telling a joke and someone in the audience says, huh? You like, oh, that was the response. The joke did not go well. And because it was my first time ever trying to create a joke, put a joke together. And I was like,
somebody from Saudi Arabia is listening to you.
What up, Saudi? What up, Saudi? And so I'm tripping out because this is not what I envisioned. Especially if God is backing this,
right?
You should be killing.
Out the gate.
This should be on the school bus, and they going crazy. You the one. You're the next Bernie Mac. No, it was like, nah, brother. You the next one that's gonna get kicked off the bus. You ain't got it. And so I kind of have that in my mind.
I want people really quick, Tim. I want people to pause real quick. I want people to really hear, because Tim is a big deal. He's being very humble, but he's a big deal. He is on the rise. This guy's going to be in a lot of big places very soon. And for him to, I'm telling you this. And what I know is I want people to connect with what you're saying. This man heard God tell him, gets on stage and bombs.
Sure did.
So I need you to understand that oftentimes when you start out pursuing the thing that you feel calling your name in the middle of the night, doesn't mean that you're going to be excellent out the gate. Everything requires work. but you cannot stop doing it. Keep going.
Yeah. And so and it wasn't until a now mentor of mine, basically said,
So
he
you
said,
didn't do it again after
"Oh
you
man, we
bombed.
took a break. I went on my first sabbatical. I was like, yep, I'm gonna need some vacation time on this calling.
Oh my God. My God. Some
But
vacation time on the calling.
yes, and so someone told me, the mentor told me, name is Ken Kane. He said, hey, bro.
They
He
waiting for you
said,
to come to a comedy club in Saudi Arabia.
I don't know. We're gonna have all right. I'm gonna have to come with security. I come if you pay for security. Anywho, yeah, we do it. We'll do it. But
Reach out to his PR team, y'all.
yeah,
Go
let's
on.
do it. So basically, he told me, he was like, man, the only reason, cause I had did a few more shows, but I was kind of this timid with it.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically was saying, hey, the reason why you feeling the way you feel is because you're fearing that you'll fail again. So I ended up embracing it. And so again, for the next year or so, with no marketing team, no agent, no manager, no website, no nothing, no business card, I would get 2 calls every month to do a stand-up gig. This is probably a birthday party or something small or something, but it was consistent. I can remember it getting
You're
to
not doing anything for it, but it keeps coming to you.
It kept on coming in. For an entire year, I would get 2 calls. I remember, it got to the point where it would get to like the 20th of the month, and I hadn't gotten a call yet. And I was like, I'm about to get a call. Sure enough, I would get to. It was the weirdest thing.
Wow.
It was just like, and I was like, how are they getting my information? And
because I am actively on a sabbatical.
It was like, tell somebody. and so I would get these calls to do these. And so I was going to post a picture because I just posted a video the other day. I did an event in Texas. This was right before the pandemic hit. So this was February of last year. The crowd was probably maybe, I would say 3,000 people. Mm-hmm. And when I made a joke, the crowd went, it was loud. It was crazy.
Right before the pandemic?
Right before the pandemic hit. And I just posted that video when I was in Plano, Texas. But I wanted to, and then the picture with it is a great picture. I'm talking about is a back shot, and it shows the crowd, shows them laughing. But I wanted to show that picture compared to the picture of me doing the birthday party for the 90-year-old lady. And I was going to show that I had the same energy. I had the same excitement on my face. It was in like a little multi-purpose room that only fit probably 30 people in there. I was wearing a suit. I was excited, and I didn't have a microphone. There was no mic there. And I was just showing people like, man, just be faithful over the beginning. God will be true to the end. And so
my goodness.
I want to encourage people with that, because I remember when I was getting $50 gigs. I remember one of my first gigs after getting the gig for the what you call it, because I was basing my rate off of that with a girl did $50. So someone said, hey, I want you to do something for my anniversary. What would you charge me? And I said, I do $50. I'll do 50. And
I want to kick you. How long ago was this that you told them this ridiculousness?
Oh man, this was 2010.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And so I was like, oh, I do 50. And so she hit me back, was like, that's a little out of our budget. And I was like, dang, I should have said 35. I knew I should have said 30. God, I should have said 30. If I wasn't being so greedy.
Oh my God.
I be doing too much.
You just want everything. Just greedy.
I beat myself up, and I was like, dang, I missed out on the gig because you asking for too much money.
Right.
And so I was really tripping out, and I look back at those beginnings, and that's everything for me. Though. That's like the biggest motivator, though, for real.
So tell me, that solid year happens. Every month you get 2 calls.
Yeah.
At what point do you start doubling down and going, okay, Timothy, I cannot mess around any longer. This is my calling. No, I want to know, at what point does it change?
So it changed for me, and I'm looking at the time. We can go longer. It's cool. I know we said 30.
That's right. Oh, that's right. Is that all right if we go a
I'm a
little over?
talker, so we can go through. We got time, okay?
Okay, good.
We
Thanks.
get
Go
it.
on.
And then my son get the cutting up. He just wide
I
open.
love it. And by the way, Timothy has 3 children and one on the way.
One any day now. Any
Woo!
day now. So
Girl or boy? Do we know?
boy.
Boy. You're a boy maker. You have one girl, right?
Two girls. I have two
Two
girls. I
two
have two
girls,
girls.
2 girls and 2 boys then.
Yep, it's gonna be 2 girls, 2 boys. Yep.
Oh, perfect. That's awesome. Go on.
Yeah. What were you saying? Oh, so
When you took it
no,
seriously at the point where it changes after that year.
cool. So when I realized I needed to like fine tune it, establish it, make it happen, was when I did a play for my church. Again, I was very active in my church. All this is happening while I'm still finished up college. And this lady looked at me, and again, I'm a year in to doing these shows, and I'm comedian Tim Shropshire.
Which
And
I
this
love your
lady,
name, Shropshire.
yeah. I love to. The lady looked at me and was like, after the play, she was like, "Boy, you is funny." I was like, "Yes, thank you." And she said, "I tell you what," she said, "You missed your calling." I said, "What are you doing?" She's like, "You should have been a comedian." And I was like, "But I'm like, I am." And I was like, "What?" And I was like, "But I am a comedian." And I was like, "What can make people realize that I'm a comedian?" I was like, "Well, brand it, make it a business." And I was like, get a website, get a card. So if that lady said that, that's the time to give her your business card. That's the time that you do. And so that night, I was like, okay, all right, I gotta come up with a name. And I was like, okay, my name is Timothy Shropshire. I was like, okay, and I looked up this guy. So Marvin Sapp's brother, Marvin Sapp has a brother who also is a comedian. His name is Henry Sapp. And so I went to his website, and it was Hen Sapp Comedy. And so I was like, oh, he cut it. I said, I'm Tim Shropshire, Tim Shrop Comedy. I was like, let's go. So
let's do it.
So I got me a website. It was Tim Shrop Comedy. Got my website. Got my business cards. A close friend of ours made my business cards, and I didn't like it. I hated it. Well, I didn't hate it. I just didn't like it. I didn't like it because I looked like I was 20 years in the game by the business card that she gave me. My friend named Ashley Crowley. I was like, girl, why are you making this like this? I said,
this is too legit. This is too legit.
I said, I ain't done enough shows yet. I just bombed at the college. I was like, I said,
$50. If I had given her the 35, do you understand?
Right. I'm charging $50, on discount. So I'm like, I'm not ready for this. I wish
I love you.
I wish I had, and sometimes I have the business card in my room.
Oh,
there
please.
It is.
Let's see it.
This is the business card right here.
Oh, that is legit. This
is the business card, and it had this on the back.
Oh, I love it.
And I'm giving this out to people.
Hey, MJ.
I forgot I had this up here. This is my first business card ever. And to me, I mean, I look back on, I'm like, oh, yeah, it could have been a little better. But no. But then I'm like, yo, I'm like, this is wild. That's what I'm saying. Number, y'all can call me if y'all want to. Right. So this is what we're working with now. We got a little, official joint. And,
I love it,
and all that stuff.
Hey.
But I kept to say, it was crazy. And just a fun fact for those who don't know, this picture, my very first picture right here, is my logo. That will always forever be my logo to the day I die. So, I get
it. Honestly, thank you for saying that.
Yeah, so, but that moment then when that lady questioned me and was like, man, you should be a comedian, like, why aren't you good? Like, almost that moment, I was like, okay, evidently I have to do something. Yeah, to show that, like, to make it official. So we made it official, and we've just been rocking ever since. So Tim Truck Comedy has been the brand and the website for the last 10 years.
Tell me, where do you go to stay? Because right now you're on the rise. I'm not kidding. Like I'm telling you, I'm really good like that, brother. You don't know me, but this is about to go pretty spectacularly big for you. So where do you go in between the then and the where it's going to stay inspired, encouraged when you get discouraged? What do you do to stay like inspired? Because this cannot have been an easy path. You've told us two wonderful stories that really pinpoints the moment when things become more final for you. And this is real, this is legit. I cannot keep ignoring this. But I know there had to be moments where it's like, damn, because like a wise friend of mine always says, Ryan, he always says, success is not linear, Shay. It's not linear. So I'm sure from 2010 to now, it has looked like this. So where do you go, Tim?
Last week was like, woo, 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 woo.
Right. That's legit.
Where I go, I was talking to a buddy of mine, and I stay at home. Mm-hmm. So I use this term winning at home. And I make home my safe haven. I make home my motivator. I make home my pretty much everything.
Me too.
What resides in my home, where the money resides. What resides in my home is a passionate and loving wife. And she helps keep me sane, help keep me centered. I remember probably 2 years.
Is your wife African?
Yeah, she's mixed with it all.
Well, just because her last name, it sounded like her last name was specifically, is it Nigerian?
Nigerian. So her dad's Nigerian, her mom's from Ghana.
Okay.
And she was born and raised in London.
Oh,
so she got it all. So she got the British,
all of that.
We can go from fufu to fish and chips any day
right.
now. It's whatever. It's however they're feeling.
Hey,
So,
being from the Bahamas, we were raised under the British influence. We got it.
That's it. Okay, good stuff. But honestly, man, my wife is outside of, and again, I guess you say family, because my parents kind of set it up, gave me that environment. Super duper supportive. My parents came to every football game in college, and pretty much came to almost every local show that I had when I was starting in comedy. And my wife kind of took that same mantle in regards to that support.
Where'd you meet her?
I met at my church. Roughly around the same time that I was discovering comedy. So she saw the beginning of it. My wife was the one, when she saw me working security at the hospital. She said, "Hey, I see you traveling around the world." And I'm like, it was weird. I see you traveling around the world. I don't know what you're doing, but I see you traveling around the world. And so, and this is when I was working security. She rocked with me then, and she's rocking with me now, where I guess we're going to Saudi Arabia in a little bit.
Yes, you are. And I'm going with you guys.
Oh, please. I need all the security. I need all of y'all. I'm scared.
I got you. Well, Steve Harvey's been doing these fantastic. You should watch. I don't know if you've seen them. Man, yes, they're really fantastic. But I love it. So right now, your home is your sanctuary. So where you go is you get real quiet. You get in your space. You surround yourself by things and people who believe in you. Your wife is a huge supporter.
Yeah.
She's, and I love that you tell that story, because she's somebody who saw you doing what you're doing right now before you could even see you doing it.
Yeah. My wife, and I'll say this real quick, and then we can move on. It was one point we hit a low in comedy, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go back and start doing. I did admissions counseling for a admission director for like 5 years, and I told my wife, I was like, hey, I could probably make 50 grand a year working for this college over there, and I was like, they're looking for people, and she was like, why are you going back? Go forward. And I was like, you see what's in my bank account? And I said, you sure you don't want me to? She said, Shrop, go forward. It's not in the back, it's going forward. And basically she was saying, stick with it. And then I probably a few months later, a shift happened in comedy, and thank God I listened. And thank God I saw her support. So yeah.
I have a question. Have you seen the vision? Have you seen that vision yet? Like when you're standing on the stage and
no, I'm chasing it. That's a motivator for me.
It's coming, brother.
You know what? I always use that as a gauge and a perspective. I've had moments like that, but I knew it wasn't it. I knew it wasn't. I was like, no, it wasn't it. And it's always that thing that rattles me because it even helped me in regards to my transition from just not doing, because I was doing churches for probably majority of my career, only churches, and I said to myself, and I just started doing more clubs, and then getting into colleges as well too, still staying clean, but
Yeah.
being able to work all
Yeah.
crowds. And I told myself, I was like, yo, you put yourself in a church. Your vision was in a theater. And I
Ooh.
was like, oh, so you're going with your not. I was like, you going with what's comfortable to you, not going what's outside. Like, so it really stretched me because I was like, if you're really going off the vision that God showed you, it was more than just doing churches, And so I was like, oh wow. So I always use that vision, that moment to kind of gauge me and to kind of challenge me and also let me know like, hey, you're gonna make it. Don't know when, but you're gonna make it,
Oh, you're doing it. You're doing it.
Right.
One of my daughter just had a sleepover, and she has there's like 4 girls running around the house. I was like, I need some time. I need 2 hours, but y'all
A
don't
lot.
bother me, please.
Right.
And one of the things that we were talking about, one of the girls asked me, she said, you interview people like they kind of secretly think I'm pretty cool, but they won't ever let me know this. And they're like, you do such a good job. How do you get good at that? And I said, anything you want to do, you got to do it. So anything that you want to do, you got to do it. That's how you get good at it. You get good
Yeah.
at it by
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah.
There's
They
no
said
other way.
I guess the best way to develop yourself on stage is stage time. It's like, stage time is the best time. So that's the only way you'll get better. You can't think about being a better comedian or a better presenter or whatnot. It's getting on stage and finding out what jokes won't work, what will work, what
Yeah.
facial expression works with this joke. Now
Ooh,
going back and
start getting
watching.
really
Oh man, you got to be
refined.
very intentional with it. You have to be very intentional. Body language, how you position your face. If you're walking like this and you say the joke, you got to turn like that, and you got to say like that. That makes the joke pop even more. So
I
watching
was crying about
comedy.
the shirt. I was crying about the tight shirt that you got for $8 at Kohl's.
Oh man, and that whole first 10 minutes of my set was straight. I had a 20-minute set that for that show. And that's the show I'm talking about that was in Texas, like 3,000 people. I mean, that first 10 minutes was all improv. It was all just telling what just happened 10
Oh,
minutes before I pulled up to the church.
oh, my
And
husband, who's a very laid back guy who gives nothing, he was crying laughing when you said, please let me know if my belly button shows.
and it was because again, that was my anxiety in my head. I'm like, yo, it's a lot of people in here, and they right here. I'm like,
Oh,
if my shirt come up, I just need y'all to say so. I just really felt it was gonna go up. So and so I and they ended up booking me again. I would say right when I went back to the green room, they had already asked me. They're like, hey, we want you back in a few more months, and or for another event, and we want to book you for next year.
I'm telling you
And
this right now. By middle of March, you're going to get a call that is going like 3,000 is a lot. Let's honor it. We always want to honor every number, everything that, you never want to come off like that's nothing. It is,
yeah,
it's huge, but you're going to get a call. I'm telling
yeah,
you, and you better tell me,
I
your people
will.
better reach out and tell me before the end of March, you're going to get a call that's going to double, if not triple that number.
Sweet. All right. All right. Look, I receive.
I'm
I
telling
receive.
you, I feel it.
We in
I
there.
feel it.
We in there. We in there. We in there. That's dope. That's dope. That's dope.
So since like drilling down, I mean, like what I'm hearing too, and I want you guys to hear it, is he's taking this seriously.
Yeah.
After it became like, okay, no bull crapping anymore. I almost said
Right.
bullshit. You gotta,
But you said it. That's funny.
that's it. I almost said it.
It's okay. It's your show. I love it. Let's do it.
No, I said, so the moment it became more real for him and he's like, okay, you guys, I got to do this. I need you guys to see that he starts crafting. He starts being very intentional with his decisions. Just so you know, the process of booking Tim to even have him on my show was a beautiful, professional, clear process. It wasn't just like, hey, it was like, here's the contract here. I mean, it was really, really organized. So what I want you guys to understand is behind the scenes, he starts doubling down. He starts drilling down on the details. He just told you about body language. So I know that there are people who are dreaming, Tim. Timothy. I don't know why I like to call you Timothy.
No, that's okay. That's my name.
There are people who are dreaming. There are people who are doing, and I want them to be able to extrapolate something from this than more than, oh, that was just a fun little hour. I want them to hear like, hey, you know that thing that you feel that you need to do? Start doing it and start taking it seriously. And as you take it seriously, the world will take you seriously. You'll start seeing things come at you. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's true.
But you got to start doing those things. You got to do the work.
Yeah.
Timothy right now is paying attention to his body language. He's paying attention to his facial expressions. He's paying attention to both of those things when he does deliver the joke. So I just want us to understand that I think that when we start to take the thing, the calling, the thing that we are on this planet to do, we take it seriously. I think the world simultaneously takes it serious with us.
I absolutely agree. We see it. We're visuals. People are consumers, and they know what they consume. They know what they feel. And so, in the person being the producer of it, they have to understand and study the consumer and study what perspective they're going to receive from it. I cry in my videos, not because I just like to cry in my videos. I see that it can double my numbers and create more engagement. It's more believable. It's how does Big Brother crying? Like, what in the world?
My God. That's what made me first laugh at you is when your daughter was choking on the chicken.
I'm telling you. So you got to study. You got to study your craft. You got to study your funny. You got to study what makes you you. And that's what I've been doing lately. Is like I did a show.
I love you in the car, by the way. I love those car bits.
Yeah. And you got to study like, okay, what was it, or how did I say it that made people laugh like that? Like why
were they resonating with that?
Right, and then you got to almost like study it, like, okay, and it's almost like learning your voice, learning your cadence, learning your style, because yes, you definitely want to stay natural, but also you want to know what works. And so I try to kind of study that and hone on to it, all that good stuff.
I want to interrupt you because I love that you're saying, you definitely want to stay natural. Isn't it funny that we feel this tension between authenticity and practice and work? So, and paying attention to those details. Those two things are not in direct contravention to each other. So years ago, I was at a conference and I've never forgotten. It was like this small little breakaway. So have you ever met someone who plays an instrument? Who plays an instrument naturally? When our daughter was a little girl, she doesn't even play it now, but when she was like 3 years old, she sat at a piano and hammered out a song. It was crazy. And we're like, what? Oh my gosh. We never see anybody play an instrument, even if they're naturally predisposed to this thing and they just are good at it, and go, you're good. And they don't ever have to pick it up again. Right. No, what it should do is should encourage them to pick it up more fervently, pick it up more often, and work really hard at it. That doesn't take away from their authentic gift, does it? We would never think that that's inauthentic. Well, it's the same thing with comedy. It's the same thing with speaking. Just because you are working on the craft and paying attention to the science or the consumerism of it doesn't make it less authentic. It makes you more committed.
That's real. Look at you. Come on now. Come on. Drop it, them jewels.
But so since then, once you started drilling down on this and you're paying attention to, tell us a big win moment that you've had recently that just encouraged your heart. Do you have a win moment that you're like, holy cow?
I guess during the pandemic, we're really in it. And I guess a few things have happened that made me feel like, wow, like let's roll. One, when I did a New Year's Eve show, knowing that's one of the biggest nights especially for a lot of comics. That's like a time you can almost go up in your rates because you're in demand, because they look for that, and it's a holiday and you do it with your family. So it was a big deal. So I created a virtual concept. And I did a pre-recorded one, and I did 11 shows that night, but I did it all pre-recorded, personalized all of those. And that's 11 different checks, And I was like, yo, I need New Year's Eve to be every month. I need New Year's Eve to be every month, you know? And so I was like, yo, this is crazy how you can create this, how you could be in so many different places of the world by creating this. And so
So you did
that
11 different shows.
11 different shows, you
Mm,
know, all because of just putting the idea out there. And there's so many nuggets within that. That's great.
that's a big moment.
That's great. That's great. But also I look back on it from an assessment point of view, was like, that's great. You did 11, but you could have did 30 if you increase your relationships over time. And I was
Ooh,
like,
good.
I was like, oh, instead of it being a
True.
last minute thought at the beginning of December. So now that you know this, so let's go going into the summer. I need for you to do an aggressive campaign, and I need you to, and
Mm,
especially if you're able to create individual and personalized, sets for these, organizations, man, let's go. And these weren't just churches, and so that was a huge win for me. And then
that's a huge
landing
win for me, for
and
you.
then yeah, and then landing and then knowing the
Mm,
um I guess being in a position of creating content outside of I feel like I have to be always present to
mm-hmm,
win. You know, that's what
mm-hmm.
stand up is. That's what
Sure.
speaking does for me. I got to be present. And so using my numbers to position my numbers to like, hey, you can do a commercial. You can do, those are wins too. So I'm in the process now. I can say this. I'm in the process now of landing my first commercial that I can just do myself on my phone, but it's for a big client. And so I
Yay.
was like, yo, because of my previous videos and having the numbers. And so we just signed a
Is that the
contract for
one that
that.
I, is that the one that was sent to me in your bio?
No, 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 not
Chick-fil-A?
them, not them, not them, not them, not
Okay.
them, not them, not
Okay.
them. That would be
Okay.
cool. That would be
Okay.
cool. That'd be
Okay.
cool. That'd be cool. It's but
You
it's
don't
in
have
the
to tell us.
family. It's in. I'll put it like this. It's in the chicken family. We'll we'll
Okay.
we'll we'll, 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 we'll see something. So,
I can't wait
um,
to buy it.
yeah, 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 yeah. So, doing that, and or just even entertaining certain conversations for doing some advertising for different brands, that we just did and locked in on, got paid for it, all that good stuff. And I was like, yo, this is there. These opportunities were here, and learning how to leverage social media in such a
Yes.
way, and like, hey, and it kind of it's also encouraging because you always are putting
Mhm.
out, and you never really know, you
What
know,
effect?
oh yeah, or just it's just a really cool return to have on it. It's like it
Mm,
lets you know you're not doing it in vain. I mean, the
because
fact
you
that
feel it.
people laugh
Mhm.
is always is encouraging. Getting messages from people, that is encouraging. But also when brands see, hey, you have a following, hey, we'll love for you to market this product for me, and we'll pay you X, Y, and Z. And you're like, you will? And I was like, yeah, because not only do you have a good following, you have a creative way of expressing something about a brand, and you make it fun. And I'm like,
You
whoa.
do.
And
You
I was like,
do.
but I only got this many numbers. I know, but it's okay.
Yep.
And so it's really cool. And so those are kind of wins that I
Those are
love to
big win
see.
moments.
And then at the end of the day, that helps you, going back to what I said before, winning at home,
Mm.
where I can come into my office and create some content, or go in the car, create some content, and be able to get a check. And that helps me not have to fly to Vegas to go do it. That's really cool too.
Mm.
Or it's one of those things. Let's create this in this pandemic. Let's create this possibility. So then when we're back on the road, now you got two things. Now you got three things. Now you got
That's
four things,
right.
four different strings. So
This
it's
pandemic, for people like you, the people who have taken advantage of it, it is
mhm.
actually
Yeah,
like blown the
yeah,
roof off of, but honestly, taking the ceiling off of many places where we had ceilings
yeah,
before.
yeah,
People who are malleable, if you're not malleable, this time has killed you. But if
yeah,
you are malleable, you will move and you
yeah.
will find a group. So you are doing things you absolutely would not have done but for the pandemic.
Right, right, right.
That's a
And then
blessing.
it also forced you to do the things that you should have been doing before. So some
Amen.
people who are around the curve, so it forced you to create, because I really wanted to create more at home content, more like a TV show concept, or so it just really forces you to utilize you know, I love videos. I love making
Me too.
content. I love in general. So it's really forced me to do those things, you know, getting all the necessary things, the equipment to do that. So yeah, so that's it.
I love Tim. If you, in a perfect world, 2 years from now, what's going on in Tim's world?
How many years?
Two.
2 years, perfect world. Uh, let's just say the pandemic eases up. We hope.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be touring. I'll be touring, but I'll be touring with my family, and that's like the biggest dream to have is to be able to tour, and to be able to tour with my family around the U.S., around the country, probably around the world,
Yes.
as
Around the
well
world.
as I still want to be able to create content.
You will be.
I still want to be able to create short films and sketches, having a consistent show that's out that goes out every, you know, like seasonal. I would love to be able to do like my I call it Tim Shrop Live, where I'm giving you me live, but I'm also showing sketches, and I'm also showing, you know,
Oh.
highlights of just funny interactive things.
Do you have
You know,
that now, don't you?
yeah, I just started my Tim Shop Live last week just to test it out,
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
went pretty cool. And I want to keep on working on it. I really would love to have
What
that.
day do you typically do them on?
So I
Or
did
you?
it Wednesday last week, this past Wednesday, and I want to probably do it every Wednesday. And
Okay.
so we're gonna see if we're gonna do this upcoming Wednesday, but we just want to just kind of test it out. But I would love to have a show. I would love to have those things there, and just creating really dope content, all done by it being captured on film of me even doing that
I
and
love that.
documenting that. I
I mean,
love,
that's like Gary Vee. That's like
yeah.
Gary Vee stuff. Yes.
I want to, is it cinematography? I love it. Like the
Yeah.
cinematic films. So, so I want to be able to film the process. I want to film
The
the tours
behind
that
the
I do.
scenes.
So like,
Absolutely.
oh,
That's
it's
the
something
meat.
about that for me. I
It's
love
the
it.
meat. It's the
I, I,
meat.
I love it even more than the actual footage itself. So
I get it.
you see me with my family. You see me. You see, and being able to have that and be able to put stuff out like that. I always said I wanted to be on TV before, but then when I realized, you know, the powers of YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
you know, more so being able to have creative control
Mm-hmm.
over it, and you can sometimes have more viewers by having your own content and put it on your own platforms.
It's
You
true.
know,
It's
so
true.
it used to you want to be on the TV network, but there's a lot of networks that you don't even know that network even exists. So I may get a 2-year deal on this show, and they may pay you this X, Y, and Z, but nobody's seen it. Nobody knows what
Right.
you
And
do.
if you
Like,
are a creative person, you're doing it for the people. You want
yeah,
them to
I want them,
consume what you're creating.
and that's sometimes the hardest part about charging sometimes, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, man, I really want to put out as much, because I know if you sometimes put a price tag on something, if they don't know you, they won't watch it. So I'm like, you have to be. It's a faith walk, because I'm willing to give you as much as free as possible, just so that I can expand and have no limits. I want you to see it, and then one day you'll pay whatever to see it.
It's true. And I don't want, anybody listening. I know there becomes this point when what you have, everybody, the first time they start selling it or charging it, there's always this weirdness with it because it's something that you do and it's something that oftentimes you do naturally. And sure, you've honed it and you're getting better and better. And we're reticent to put value to it. But let me tell you this. There is tremendous value because you are the only one who can give it to us.
Yeah.
And we want it and we are willing to pay for it. We're consumers in every area of our lives.
Oh yeah.
And we buy the stuff and we
Yeah.
consume the stuff that we want to. So I always say, and if you really believe that what you heard was God impressing upon you to do this as your calling, then you are robbing us, young man, when you
Mhm.
don't give it to us and you don't allow us to purchase or
Yeah.
buy or
Oh,
partake.
oh,
Yeah.
I show charge now.
Right, right,
But
right. He does now.
but I
But for
do
those people
understand that
out
there
there
is a,
who don't get it
yeah,
together, you do charge. It's
yeah,
important. Mm-hmm.
yeah. But that comes a point, even in anything you do, that you have to present it to where, to your consumers, and it is that process, it's that road that some people are not willing to take. So sometimes you got to put yourself out there, not overexpose yourself, because too much exposure can kill you too.
Right. And
And
it's
so
probably a hard dance to figure out what that looks like
yeah,
until
yeah.
you
But you'll
know.
feel it. Your bills will tell you. Your bills will tell you. Your bills will be like, hey, we ain't doing no more free gigs this month. You know,
Right.
bills will tell you. Bills and a good wife will tell you. So
I love this. Tim, if there's
yeah.
something that you'd want someone to take away from our talk, what's something that you'd want them to take away from this, sir?
Write the vision, make it plain.
Mm.
And once you write the vision, man, go after it. Don't ever feel like you're not good enough. You have everything you need already inside of you to do what you call to do. You have everything you need. And so when you hit that low moment, that means go harder. When you get another low moment, just go even harder. I promise you. It's just you going up a hill. And I promise you, you're going to go on the other side of it, very soon. So don't give up. Please don't give up. And stop taking so many breaks. Just go after it.
Oh, I love it. Okay, I always end all of my interviews in the spirit of James Lipton. I used to always watch Inside the Actor's Studio. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Yeah.
He always had these fireball questions, and that's what I end my interviews with.
Okay.
So, what sound or noise do you like?
The sound of my wife. Next question.
I love it. What sound or
No,
noise?
that wasn't a good one. That was actually sexual.
What sound or noise don't you like?
The dog across the street named Barack, who chased me down the street last month.
Wait, they named a dog Barack?
Yes, they did.
Our people. I'm just gonna take a stab at it. Are they us?
Oh yeah. I would have shot the dog if the name was Barack. Like, how you let the dog Barack? You
Right.
What'd you say? You got Barack with a collar on?
Exactly. I love it. What is your favorite word?
My favorite word?
Yeah.
Means everything.
Means everything.
Yep.
I love all of that. Means everything. What is your favorite curse word?
Favorite cuss word? I don't have one.
See, he's so clean, y'all. I love it.
No, I don't. I don't. Let me see. Could nothing really come up.
Yeah, no, that's legit. That's a real answer. If you weren't doing what you're doing right now, being a stand-up comic, what would you be doing?
Mentoring.
I love it. If heaven exists, this is the last question. What do you want God to say when you get there?
I'm gonna steal this from what Ed Millett said, and basically, he said something I think is so powerful. I want to meet the version that God created, and so when I get to heaven, I want God to say, "You are the person that I created, and you became the person I created," versus God saying, "You did not amount up to what I wanted you to become."
You became everything I dreamed. I made you to be.
Yeah,
that is
I
a
don't want to
beautiful
lack
answer.
anything. Yeah, so
beautiful.
So yeah, so well done, my good and faithful servant. I guess that's
no, don't do that. I like the one you just gave me. That was beautiful. That you became everything that I wanted you to be. I appreciate that, Tim. You are a beautiful soul. I am excited to see the trajectory of where you go. I love to think that I touched a bit of it on the way up. I see it, brother. And
thank you.
Honestly, may you have the most beautiful day. May your wife have the most peaceful delivery in bringing that little boy into this world.
Yes, you know it. Man, thank you so much for an amazing interview. Top 5 interviews of 2021.
Hey, there it is. Thank you, Tim. Bye.
Much love. Thank you. See you.
Much love to you.